Don't ever get trapped in the cycle of greed, fear, and time. And this is what I mean, because in my business, I see this all the time with these retiring advisors. They get greedy because they think they can make just a little bit more on their business. They want to sell it for a little bit more. They get fearful because they're overwhelmed and paralyzed by the overanalyzation, and they're overthinking every decision. And they have no time because they were ready to retire yesterday, but they waited to the last minute. Now their wife's sick and they need more time, and now they're more fearful, and then they get greedier, and then they get in this cycle where they can't get out. And the truth is, that cycle's a dead cycle. When is enough enough? Because all of these individuals have made more money than they ever dreamed of in their lives. But is it enough? I recently attended this really amazing event with some of the top producers at all of Raymond James, and I got to learn from so many great people. But one of the best conversations I seem to have over and over and over again was really about the next chapter. And it's a space that I spend a lot of time in because our company focuses on succession and catastrophic risk and continuity plans for financial advisors, and the average age of advisors is in their 60s. And so what we're finding is most advisors don't have a plan. And this is no different than most business owners, folks. This isn't just for financial advisors, but most business owners that love what they do don't have a plan. And it brought up the question that the best question that seemed to come up over and over and over again was, when is enough enough? And what happens is this weird world of working for a purpose, passing that purpose, and loving it so much they don't know when to stop. It's actually a positive thing, right? Loving what you do and being passionate about what you do is extremely valuable and unique. Not a lot of people have that value. And all these individuals I was having the opportunity to talk to had the same love and passion for what they do and who they help, how many people they've helped, how it's helped their family. They've all been financially pretty successful. And with that financial success, as they find themselves getting to that last chapter of work, they find themselves wondering, what are they going to do? What do they do when they stop? What do they do when they stop working? So funny story here is that as a financial advisor for 20 years, I've sat across from clients, and this is the story I tell all the time. Husband and wife come in. Husband just retired. Wife's been retired or maybe didn't work. Different generation. Husband gets up to go to the bathroom one of maybe 2 to 3 times in a 1-hour appointment, which is always a little bit funny too. As soon as he gets up to go to the bathroom, the wife looks at me and says, "Get him back to work. He's driving me crazy." He comes back and he's like, "Yeah, retirement's great. You know, we have a great breakfast. We eat lunch together. We eat dinner." She's looking at me going, "Yeah, I make all 3 of those meals," right? And it's this challenge of they've had 2 different lives, and he now has lost the very thing that he found the most purpose in. And he's very challenged. Now, is the answer that that person goes back to work? No. In my book, I explore this by living your legacy while you're working. Living your legacy means you're doing things that add impact beyond your work. If your only impact is your job, your career, your work, there's an emptiness that goes away when they're gone. Same thing with your children, moms and dads. If the only thing you live for is your children while they're in your house, when they go away to college or live their life, you feel empty. Impact has to go beyond one thing. It's very challenging, but it's true. And so in talking to a lot of the advisors that may be in their late 60s, early 70s, or later, there's this question that was like, I don't even know what to do, Scott, when I stop. And I asked one individual, I said, have you asked your wife what she would like you to do? Have you talked to your children? You got 3 children. Have you asked each of them what they would like to see you do? Well, they think I work too much already, and they think I just need to stop. And I'm like, yeah, but they don't want you to stop, because when you stop, you're going to be bored. So what is it that you're going to do instead? Can you serve as a consultant in your business? Can you stay on board in some capacity? Can you still be a hero to all the people that you served, but only come in a couple days a week? Can you still go spend a month with the grandkids and do something completely out of the ordinary? that your wife would love to do that she's never been able to do because of you? What are the things your family thinks? It's funny because that question, he laughed and he goes, I've never, ever thought of that. And you might be watching this video and you may be that same person. Or you may be watching this video and you're like, oh my gosh, I am not that person. But maybe if you asked your spouse, they might think you are. You know, see, the key component is self-awareness is a very, very important thing in this. And a lot of times we're self-aware but wrong. And I do not have this all figured out. I think I have to do this on a regular basis. I think my wife and I have to sit down on a regular basis and reevaluate our vivid vision for our family. What are we working towards? What is our goal? How does my job and my career fit into that? How does her job and her career fit into that? But we do it all the time, incrementally, right? This generation that I was talking to really is finding an emptiness in just walking away. But it's not just an emptiness in work, it's also because they loved what they do. And so I understand that. I understand it. I've watched my mother work hard for 40 years. She's the most amazing person at her career that I've ever seen. I trust her with everything in real estate that I've ever had. She's unbelievable. She loves what she does. But as a child, I definitely wish she was home more. I definitely had moments where I resented the career that she had chosen and how successful she was becoming was impeding my objective as a teenager or a child, only to realize the exact same thing as I got older. And as I'm talking to these gentlemen and even some of the women that were at the conference, it's finding a balance between two. It's helping to understand what the other people in your life that matter the most, when you're gone and they say your eulogy, they're going to want to know how you were as a human. They're not going to care about how great you were at work. Now that may be one chapter that defines you, but they want to know how good of a friend you were, how great of a family man you were, or how unbelievable of a mother you were, or how you picked up your friends when they needed it. Those are the stories people share when you're gone. Not how you closed business better than anybody. Not how you made more money than anybody. Like at the end of the day, you actually would sacrifice all of what you've made and everything of which you have for more time with the people you love when it's all said and done. So I don't have all the answers, but through those conversations, we hit a pretty good number of topics and explored some really interesting dynamics that I would challenge you to think about. How are you doing that on a yearly basis with your own family? How are you evaluating the goalposts? When is enough enough? Because all of these individuals have made more money than they ever dreamed of in their lives. But is it enough? Don't ever get trapped in the cycle of greed, fear, and time. And this is what I mean, because in my business, I see this all the time with these retiring advisors. They get greedy because they think they can make just a little bit more on their business. They want to sell it for a little bit more. They get fearful because they're overwhelmed and paralyzed by the overanalyzation and they're overthinking every decision. And they have no time because they were ready to retire yesterday, but they waited to the last minute. Now their wife's sick and they need more time. And now they're more fearful. And then they get greedier. And then they get in this cycle where they can't get out. And the truth is, that cycle's a dead cycle. Find a good person that matches your culture, that matches the number that's fair, and walk away. Or stay and add value in a new way, in a new chapter. There's no right or wrong answer. But the reality is exploring the questions and staying away from fear, greed, and a lack of time will make you highly successful. Because enough is enough it's really a question for you to answer for yourself. Is it more time, more love, more family, more work? What is it that you're searching for? I don't know. We all have to figure that out. But I love talking about this kind of stuff, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. I'd love to learn your thoughts and understand your perspective more.